Some people chase wealth, others chase purpose, but the rarest ones, they find both. The scent of freshly brewed espresso filled the air as Lucas Hayes sat in the corner of an upscale cafe, scrolling through stock reports on his tablet. Billionaire, investor, CEO, every title he had ever dreamed of he had earned. Yet as he glanced out the window watching the fast-paced city move around him, something felt off. Then he saw her. Across the street outside a small veterinary clinic, a woman knelt beside a golden retriever, gently stroking its fur. Her laughter rang through the air as the dog excitedly wagged its tail. Lucas frowned. "Is that—" The woman stood, tucking a loose strand of hair behind her ear, and he felt his breath catch. "It is Lena Carter, his best friend from high school, the girl who once challenged him to dream bigger, who used to say, 'One day, we're going to do something amazing.' And yet here she was, not running a high-end research lab, not working at a top-tier corporate firm, but a small, struggling vet clinic. A decade had passed since he had last seen her. He had built an empire. She had vanished from his world. Now fate had brought them together again. And Lucas had a feeling this wasn't just coincidence. This was a moment that would change everything. Lucas didn't hesitate. He stood, tossing a few bills onto the table, and crossed the street without taking his eyes off Mia. She was busy adjusting the collar of the golden retriever when he stopped a few feet away. "Didn't think I'd run into you here." Mia froze. Her fingers paused mid-buckle, and for a moment she didn't turn around. Then slowly she looked up, her brows furrowed, lips parting in confusion. "Lucas?" He smirked. "So you do remember me?" He blinked, her expression shifting from shock to something unreadable. Then she let out a breathless laugh. "Wow, I can't believe it." She shook her head. "Lucas Hayes, billionaire. What's a guy like you doing outside a tiny vet clinic?" Lucas tucked his hands into his pocket, studying her. "Question is, what are you doing inside one?" Mia's smile faded slightly, but she covered it up quickly. "Same thing I've always wanted to do. Helping animals." She motioned toward the golden retriever, who happily wagged his tail. "Someone's got to take care of them." Lucas glanced at the clinic behind her, the peeling paint, the faded sign, the barely stocked shelves visible through the window. "This place looks small," he said carefully. Mia chuckled, shaking her head. "Not everything has to be big and flashy, Lucas." She raised an eyebrow. "You were top of our class. You had offers from major hospitals. So why are you here instead of some high-end facility?" Something flickered in Mia's eyes. Something tired. She sighed, running a hand through her hair. "Because money doesn't matter when a stray animal is dying on your doorstep," she muttered. "And because big hospitals care more about profits than pets." Lucas fell silent. She was still the same, headstrong, passionate, refusing to let the world dictate her choices. But now she looked exhausted. "How bad is it?" he asked. Mia hesitated. "The clinic?" He nodded. She exhaled, crossing her arms. "It's bad. Funding is low. Medications are expensive. And some days I don't even know if I'll make rent." Lucas clenched his jaw. She had given up a life of luxury for this. For them, for animals no one else cared about. And suddenly, he knew exactly what he was going to do. Lucas smirked. "All right, then." Mia frowned. "All right, what?" He pulled out his phone, scrolling through his contacts. "I'm buying this place." Mia's eyes widened. "Wait, what? No. Lucas, you can't just—" "Too late," he said smoothly, pressing the call button. "I already made up my mind." Mia gaped at him, speechless. Lucas glanced up, meeting her stunned expression. "You spent your life saving them." He gestured toward the clinic. "Now it's my turn to save you." Mia took a step back, shaking her head. "Lucas, this isn't a business deal. You can't just walk in and buy my clinic like it's another investment." Lucas lowered his phone, smirking. "Why not? You need funding. I have money, seems like a good match." She folded her arms. "That's not how this works." He tilted his head. "Then explain it to me." Mia exhaled, clearly frustrated. "Because this isn't just money, Lucas. It's personal. I built this place from nothing. I fought for every permit, every piece of equipment. You can't just throw a check at me and expect me to say yes." Lucas studied her for a moment, then slowly put his phone away. "Fine," he said. "Then I won't buy it." Mia blinked. "I'll invest in it," he clarified, "not as a businessman. As a friend." She hesitated. "What's the difference?" Lucas shrugged. "For starters, you keep full control. I don't touch operations. You run things your way, no interference." He crossed his arms. "And second, it's not a loan. It's not charity. It's a partnership." Mia's lips parted slightly as if she wasn't sure how to respond. Lucas smirked. You said money doesn't matter when a stray is dying, right? Well, lucky for you, I have plenty of money and no clue how to use it properly. He let out a small, breathless laugh, shaking her head. You really don't take no for an answer, do you? Not when I see something worth fighting for, he admitted. Silence stretched between them. Mia looked past him at the clinic, the place she had given everything for, the place that barely survived month to month. Finally, she sighed. If I say yes, I still call the shot. Lucas nodded, every single one. She narrowed her eyes, and you don't get to turn this into some corporate. He smirked. Not unless you ask me to. Mia exhaled, shaking her head. You're impossible. Lucas grinned, so I've been told. She hesitated for just a second longer. Then finally, she extended her hand. All right, partner. Lucas took her hand, shaking it firmly. You won't regret this. Mia chuckled. Oh, I'm already regretting it. But the look in her eyes was something he hadn't seen in her before. Hope. And for the first time in a long time, Lucas wasn't just making the deal. He was making a difference. Some people build wealth, others build purpose. The real success is finding a way to do both. The next few weeks flew by in a blur of renovations, new medical supplies, and a flood of rescued animals that Maya could finally treat without worrying about budget constraints. Lucas had kept his word. He didn't interfere. He didn't question her decisions or try to turn the clinic into a profit-driven business. Instead, he stood back and watched Mia thrive. And for the first time in years, she wasn't just surviving. She was winning. One afternoon, Mia stepped into the reception area, wiping sweat from her brow after a long surgery. Lucas, I need to talk to you. He glanced up from his laptop, where he had been skimming through financial reports, not for his billion-dollar company, but for her clinic. If this is about the turtle in exam room 2, I already told you I refuse to adopt it. Mia smirked. It's not that. She sat across from him, exhaling. I never said thank you. Lucas raised an eyebrow. For what? For everything, she admitted. You could have just written a check and walked away, but instead you stayed. You believed in me. She swallowed hard. I don't think anyone's ever done that before. Lucas studied her for a moment, then leaned forward. Mia, you always believed in me. Back in school when I was just some kid with big dreams and no clear plan, you were the one who told me I'd make it. Mia blinked, surprised. I never forgot that, he continued. And when I saw you again struggling to keep this place alive, I realized something. She tilted her head. What? Lucas smirked. It was my turn to believe in you. Mia's breath hitched, her fingers curling against the armrest of the chair. The air between them shifted, something unspoken lingering in the silence. But before she could respond, the door burst open and one of the vet techs rushed in. Mia, we've got an emergency. Someone just brought in an injured husky. Mia shot up instantly, all hesitation gone. I'll handle it. Lucas watched as she ran toward the back, completely in her element. He had spent his life around people who chased money, power, success. But Mia, she was different. She wasn't chasing anything. She was living her purpose. And for the first time in years, Lucas found himself wondering, had he finally found his too? True success isn't about wealth. It's about knowing when to use it to change someone's life. And if you're lucky, you just might change your own in the process.